Welcome to Intellify. Today we'll be talking about the new security law that has been passed by the Chinese government and is apparently the reason for protests in Hong Kong. Hong Kong was a former British colony for more than 150 years. It was handed back to China in 1997 under the principle One Country, Two Systems. It has its own judiciary and a separate legal system from mainland China. These rights include freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and a high degree of autonomy, except in foreign and defense for 50 years after 1997, that is, till 2047. It is not clear what the Hong Kong's status will then be. Now let's understand the situation from the beginning. The extradition bill triggered the first protest in April 2019. It would have allowed for criminal suspects to be extradited to mainland China. Protesters feared that it could curtail their freedom and wanted the bill to be completely withdrawn. Protesters and police clashes became frequent and violent. Finally, in September 2019, the bill was withdrawn and it was termed as too little, too late. On 1st October, China was celebrating 70 years of Communist Party rule, when Hong Kong experienced one of its most violent and chaotic days. An 18-year-old was shot, pro-Beijing lawmaker was stabbed, policemen shot one protester, a man was set on fire. Standoffs happened between the police and students on the campus of Hong Kong's Polytechnic University. Now let's see protesters ने वो क्या 5 demands रखी थी. First, protests riots की तरह ना characterize किए जाएं. Second, arrested protesters को रिहा किया जाए. Third, independent inquiry बिठाई जाए alleged police brutality पे. Fourth, universal suffrage जो कि है right to vote वो completely exercise किया जाए. Fifth, itself was withdrawing the extradition law. Hong Kong's leader, the chief executive, is elected by a 1,200-member election body, mostly a pro-Beijing committee chosen by just 6% of eligible voters. Mini Constitution of Hong Kong, जो कि है basic law, ये कहता है कि leader और legislative council एक democratic way से elect होना चाहिए. Chinese government, in its response, has said that voters would be allowed to choose their leaders from a list approved by a pro-Beijing committee. According to a recent survey, only 11% of Hong Kongers consider themselves as Chinese citizens, whereas 71% don't feel proud while being called citizens of China. They call themselves Hong Kongers and believe that there have always been legal, social, and cultural differences between China and Hong Kong, and they do not feel like merging. Now, China has introduced a new national security law, which critics believe could be used to crack down on rights and political activists. It is known to be a wide-ranging new security law for Hong Kong, which makes it easier to punish protesters and reduces the autonomy. ये law 4 acts को criminalize करता है. First, secession, which means breaking away from country. Second, subversion, which means undermining the power of authority of central government. Third, terrorism. And fourth is collusion with foreign or external forces. The law came to effect on June 30th, 2020. Critics say it will effectively curtail the freedom of speech and protests, whereas China says it will return stability. I'd like to read out few pointers under the law. Maximum sentence of life in prison can be given to people convicted under the law. Convicted people cannot contest elections in future. Trials can be and will be heard behind closed doors. Foreign news agencies will be managed and in close eye will be kept. This law also applies to non-permanent residents or people living outside of Hong Kong. Hong Kong fears its loss of freedom after this law and fear that their judicial system will be same as China. Hong Kongers say that freedom of expression is in danger if not personal security. Countries जैसे कि USA and Australia have promised humanitarian aid, whereas UK opened a path for 40% of the city's residents to obtain citizenship. Taiwan has also offered citizenship to Hong Kongers. Should India help? क्या इंडिया को भी citizenship देनी चाहिए? What are your thoughts on this? Tell us in the comment section below. Thank you.